Action. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thanks for doing my podcast with me.
Yeah, thanks for doing it in this cool studio.
I know, it's super cool. Thanks for having me here, because usually I just do it at home and it's kind of boring. So
yeah, when you get the chance to do it in person, I think it's better.
I agree. And I also think it's just, the conversation flows more in person for sure. So I've known you for like 2 years now.
That's it?
Only 2 years. It does feel a lot longer.
Yeah, only 2 years, okay.
I feel like there's so many people I know through social media that I haven't even met in person. So to know you for 2 years is really exciting. So, yeah. And you're one of the few people I know who's super into fruit and who's super into fitness, which is very, very rare. And
it's surprising, right?
It's so surprising.
You'd think that way more people would be into, well, just not a lot of people are into fitness in general.
Yeah.
So if you look at that way, very few people are into fitness in general, and then of those who are into fitness, who are into fruit, far less.
Far less, yeah.
But to me and you, I guess fitness is just so normal. It's like all we know. And then like we were so desperate for like the cure that we found fruit, and now here we are. But yeah, like the amount of energy you get from fruit, you'd think you'd want to just naturally put into fitness, but I guess a lot of people don't.
Well, I think like we've talked about before, a lot of people who are super into fruit do more like yoga and more of like the kind of I don't know, just meditation, more kind of, I don't know if it's passive's not the right word, but just more relaxed type exercising, which there's nothing wrong with that. Hikes, yeah. I don't mind hikes, but we like more intense, kind of hardcore, like feeling very accomplished type workouts. Yeah. Which again is hard to find in people who eat a lot of fruit.
Yeah. I guess, well, I only got into like bodybuilding, lifting weights when I started dating a raw vegan who was into that.
Interesting. Okay, so, how long ago was that?
I don't know the dates, but let's say 2016 or something.
Okay, so almost 10 years ago.
26, 27. Yeah. And she was into it, and so I started going to the gym with her. And that's when I got into it. Prior to that, I was just cardio junkie, swim, bike, run all the time.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd even have, I wouldn't have these biceps.
Yeah.
There's no way. She got me into it.
So cool.
But, how'd you get into lifting weights?
I got into lifting weights after college. I joined a real gym, and I met one of the trainers there, and she was amazing. And so I started training with her because I was like, well, I want to lean out. And she ended up becoming a great mentor of mine, actually, and we're still in touch now. But she got me super into weightlifting, or bodybuilding, I guess, if you want to call it that. Not that I call it that, but weight training. And she had me compete in a bodybuilding bikini competition once just for fun, which I don't know that I would do it again, but it was a fun experience. Part of me wants to do it again, eating fruit.
Sure.
Because when I did it, it was all about the protein, and then you had a cut and the whole thing. So
to do it as a fruit-based athlete, that'd be so badass.
That's what I think. So
you might as well, even if you lose, you get the cool pictures of you on stage posing with all the other women.
That's
you probably
true.
Look just as good.
Yeah, no one would know.
No one can tell.
Line us all up, pick the fruitarian.
Yeah. You got to go on. Do it.
Yeah, maybe I will. So you got into bodybuilding 10 years ago. And obviously it's super controversial doing what we do because we don't eat high protein. And we technically, we get plenty of protein, but technically speaking, with modern standards, we get no protein.
Yeah.
So how was that for you when you got into it? Was that a mental block?
Well, I wanted to do high protein, so I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I thought I needed it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do what all the other big vegan bodybuilders are doing, not realizing that a lot of them do steroids.
Yeah.
So I just started loading up on protein, started eating a ton of food, and I put on a lot of weight because just more calories equals more weight. So I gained a ton of weight, and I noticed that every time I went away from high carb and I went to high protein, my digestion was just a wreck. I was just so gassy.
Yeah.
And then when I went no worse, low protein, my digestion was perfect. No gas throughout the day. And even though I noticed that and I was aware of that, and I hated being super gassy, I was like, yeah, but I need protein because he said it, and she said it, and he said it, and she said it.
Yeah.
And there was not a single person on the internet saying you do not need all this protein to build muscle. Now, I'd never heard that once. But I was like, I'm just going to freaking try it because this sucks. So I went no protein, and I kept getting stronger. Bench press improved, pull-ups improved, squats improved, leg press improved. Everything got stronger still.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I make posts on it. Hey guys, here's how I built more strength on just fruit with no protein. People in the comment section saying, you cannot do it.
Yes.
Like, okay, even though I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess obviously, like, you know, and it's just a word, the word protein. Like, sure, you can say there's protein in fruit and whatever, but I like to look at it as amino acids. And if you count up all the amino acids we're getting on a daily basis, that would equate to a significant amount of protein, somewhere in the range of like maybe like 50 to 80 grams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're doing about 2,000 calories a day approximately.
Yeah.
So for most people, that's plenty.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't care what the science says. I don't care what the science says. All I care about is, am I getting stronger and do I feel great?
Yeah. That's science enough.
If I'm training strength, I'm getting stronger. If I'm training
Yeah.
flexibility, I'm going to become more flexible. If I'm training cardio, are my times getting faster?
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
It really is that simple. But then you still, like you said, you still have the people in the comment section being like, but you need protein, but you need protein. And people harp, as you age, you need more protein. Like, you hear that all the time. And I'm like, no, just no. It's all about the disease-protecting nutrients. And then in the case of, like, working out, like, glucose plays a huge role, which I don't think people who are into protein deny that, but they're like, whoa, but the protein's more important. It's like, I don't know. Like, clearly not. Based on what you do, based on what I do.
Well, it's so interesting how very few people are willing to do an experiment, whether it's for 3 days of no protein, 7 days of no protein, a month of no protein. Just do an experiment and see if you're able to get stronger. And I almost guarantee if you train correctly, with enough rest in between your training, even on a very low to / no protein diet, you'll still get stronger.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But very few people are willing to even do that 3-day, 7-day, 30-day experiment.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would take longer than 3 days. I think 3 days would not be enough.
Well, I guess it depends on the exercise.
True.
Like, if you've never done bench press before, and you go do bench press on a Monday, and you're sore on Tuesday, and you're sore on Wednesday, and you come back Thursday, you're probably going to be stronger on
True. Okay.
Thursday,
I see what you're saying. So yeah, you're saying to focus it on like a single exercise.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like bigger picture.
No, just like pick an exercise for like a 12 reps. Do as max as you can for 12 reps, and then come back 3-4 days later, do it again, and I would be surprised if you're not stronger.
Yeah.
Assuming you got enough sleep, assuming you got enough rest.
Right.
Assuming you've got enough calories. That's also very important.
Well, that's a huge mistake people make. If they want to go low protein, then they're not eating enough calories.
Period,
and then you're weak because you're just deficient in energy.
Yeah, 100%. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Almost every single person who goes fully raw vegan, specifically like fruitarian, they always undereat.
Yeah.
Because they don't eat ripe, high-quality fruit. So, like, if you and I were to sit down in front of a bunch of, like, semi-green bananas, semi-yellow bananas, we'd be like, yeah, we'd eat 1 or 2 and be like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
But if we have perfectly spotted cheetah-like bananas, we'd eat 5, 6, 10 of them.
Yeah.
So the ripeness factor is so key, and it's a skill that needs to be developed, that it can take, years for that skill to be developed across all these different fruits.
Yeah. That's a good point that you point out that skill, because so many people ask me, well, how do you know, like clients ask me this all the time, well, how do I know which watermelon to pick, or which bananas I feel like people pretty much know, but like which melon or pineapple or papaya, and it is a skill. Like, I mean, and I know you specifically with bananas because I've seen you post about it and I've seen you talk about it. You have like every stage of banana on hand, so you're like always ready, and I do as well. And I also, like with papayas and melons, I always am just buying some to have on hand because they're going to be ready at different times. And I don't want to sit there and eat an underripe papaya. Like, that's not enjoyable.
No. It's sacrilege to cut it open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good point. The skill of eating fruit that's ripe enough so you actually are full, and then have the calorie
and
intake.
that starts with the skill before eating ripe fruit, which is stocking up.
Yeah. Planning ahead.
You got to stock up.
Yeah.
Like when you go into a fruitarian's house, a true fruitarian.
Yeah.
You can tell they're a real fruitarian. They have so much fruit. You're a real fruitarian. There's so much fruit in your house. And some of it might go to waste, but at least you have an absolute abundance.
Right.
And by waste, it's like worst case, you can feed it to your dogs, or throw it in the garden and grow beautiful flowers, or throw it under your tree and grow some more fruit. Like worst case, you compost it. So fruit, I don't even think can truly be wasted unless you put it in the garbage.
Right.
But even then, if you put it in the garbage, you're helping create a beautiful flowers in the landfill.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But it's planning ahead, and I think that's I mean, anytime someone's making a nutritional change to meal plan, whatever that meal planning looks like for you, that is a huge skill in and of itself to learn. So that's such a good point about when people make the switch, and probably one of the number one things that they do wrong when it comes to trying to rely on fruit for your protein.
Yeah. I would say a good rule of thumb is if you're getting enough calories, you're getting enough protein. And when I first heard that, I think I got that from Doug Graham or something. Like, good rule of thumb. If you're getting enough calories, you're getting enough protein, period.
It's that simple. It really is. Simple.
But then it comes down to, okay, well, how do we get enough calories? Well, it comes down to stocking up enough.
Yep.
And it comes down to eating ripe enough.
Yeah.
And tasty enough. And high sugar fruits.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the best cucumbers and tomatoes in the world, you're not going to be able to fill up that easily.
No, definitely
so it's
not.
High sugar fruits like the mangoes, the papayas, the melons, the peaches, the bananas, the dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, Dr. Graham and then another doctor, Dr. Garth Davis, he's also said that there is no case of protein deficiency in any person eating adequate amounts of calories. You only see that in people who are under eating or in countries that deal with a lot of malnourishment due to lack of food availability.
Done.
Yeah. And even like my mom was a perfect example because she doesn't really eat much meat. She eats a little bit, but her protein count, she did labs and her protein count was really low. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, Taylor. Like, I feel like I need to eat more meat again because that's the only thing I'm doing differently. And I was like, Mom, break down what you're doing during the day. She's like, well, I get up and I have juice and then I go and I run errands and then I'll have a smoothie at like 3:00 and then it's dinner time. Well, you're not eating all day. Like, you're going all day without eating. So I kind of got on her and like, you need to eat breakfast and then you need to eat your lunch earlier, and her numbers normalized.
And yeah, and most people like that, what your mom was describing, she said, then I have dinner. Well, if her dinner was big enough, she'd be fine, but chances are it wasn't big enough because most people suck at eating large amounts of food in one sitting.
Yeah.
So most people do need to break it up throughout the day, unless you like train yourself to be able to eat massive meals.
That's true.
Which most people can't do.
And I would argue that men's bodies are better at doing that than women's bodies because women definitely need to eat breakfast, whereas men can get away without it based on our different hormone cycles.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, you could in theory have one really large meal.
A lot of guys do.
Yeah. But again, I see it more with guys. I don't see it with women.
No, very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, women have smaller bladders. I would say women have smaller stomachs as well.
Yeah. And we have a 28-day hormone cycle, and men have a 24-hour hormone cycle.
Yes, we do.
So
I'm a very different man in the evening.
Yeah.
Than I am in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
And midday, I'm different too. Like, I have different vibes that I go through.
Totally.
Women are like that throughout the month.
Yep. Yeah. We have like a week we're here, another week we're here. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. So one thing that I found so interesting about you when it came to workouts is you religiously track your PRs, which is obviously the best thing you can do to prove to people that you are getting stronger, and even just to prove to yourself. Like, you don't have to prove it to anyone else, but it's nice to have that data to back up. Well, look at my numbers. What would you say are like a couple of your most favorite PRs that you have gotten that you were like, wow, I did not think that was possible, even though like because fruit's amazing, but like that you still...
Yeah, I pretty much only care about a few PRs. Some of because like you could PR on like tricep extension or calf raises or something like kind of weird, like lateral raises.
Yeah.
Something weird. I like to PR on, and I really only care about the PRs on the exercises that are very much repeatable universally. So I don't even like to PR on incline bench press. Because the incline in Mexico might be like 55 degrees, or the incline in California might be like 72 degrees.
Okay.
So it's like it's a different angle.
Yeah.
Same with using machines. I like to PR on machines because I'm like, that machine was more lubed up than that machine. So I try to only like get PRs and with perfect technique as well. I got to keep technique the same because you could swing your pull-ups, you could do strict pull-ups. So even on my app and my PR app, I have a different exercise for shoulder pressing to my chin height versus shoulder pressing to my eye height.
Okay.
Versus shoulder pressing to my chest. It's a very different lift.
Yeah.
And I make sure to distinguish between the three.
Smart.
And so my favorite ones, the ones I care most about, is weighted pull-ups, bench press, and shoulder press.
Okay, awesome.
3 simples. Like I'm getting stronger at pulling myself up with weight. I'm getting stronger at pushing stuff above my head with weight. I'm getting stronger at just my favorite lift, which is the flat bench press.
Yeah.
Those are it. And I typically try to hit a PB only when I'm like bulking.
Okay.
Because if I'm cutting, I'm losing weight, I'm losing strength. Except with pull-ups, you can actually get stronger when you're losing weight.
Yes,
It's like
it
pulling
becomes
less weight.
easier.
So that's the one exercise that I do like
Yeah.
when I'm cutting. But yeah, so it's like if I'm gaining weight, I try to get stronger on shoulder press and bench. If I'm losing weight, I try and get stronger on pull-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah.
And it's smart that you track it. And I still, after knowing you for this long, I still don't track. I still don't track.
I had a conversation like this for 5 years in a row before I started tracking.
Okay.
Because I saw my friend Mike Vlacity, who could bench press twice his body weight, which very few people on the planet can even do.
Wow, that's so
Twice
crazy.
his body weight. That would be like me benching 320 pounds or something insane. I can bench press like 200. But he religiously tracked. And I kept asking him, how is he so strong? How is he so strong? How is he strong? And all he gave credit to was tracking. He didn't even give credit to the diet. He's like, I'm strong because I track. And I heard that enough times to be like, all right, fucking just
There's something to this.
yeah, just track.
Yeah.
But now that I track, I've gamified it, and it's like super fun to go in there. I almost like hunt. I hunt for the record. Like, which record am I going to get today? And I do track other lifts, like I do track bicep curls or like squats or something.
Mm-hmm.
But those are kind of just, I don't really care about them too much. But at least there's there to help me gamify my workouts.
Totally, yeah. Maybe I'll have to do that because, I mean, as you know, we've worked out together. I don't push myself that hard, and it's probably because it's like, oh, this weight is strong enough. Like, I don't go back and look at what I've done and like, oh my gosh, I've been doing 45-pound single arm dumbbell rows for a year. Like, I can go up for sure.
Well, what if you were getting weaker?
Well, and that too.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is scary. Yeah.
And I want to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I track to make sure I don't get weaker.
Smart. Yeah. That's a very good
If
point.
I stay as strong as I am now for the rest of my life, I might be kind of frustrated because I'm not getting stronger.
Yeah.
But I'll take frustration over fear of getting weaker. Like, I'll take the frustration of plateauing until I'm 80.
Yeah.
Then experiencing the fear of getting weaker. You know? So I want to make sure I'm not getting weaker. Obviously, I'm trying to get stronger. And there will come a time where I do get weaker, I'm sure, in my later years.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm in my absolute prime.
Of course.
So I'm like, let's get strong as I can. Maybe I'll plateau in my 50s, in which case then I'll start taking some testosterone. Only when I'm in my later years.
Yeah. Right now you're in your prime. There's no need.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know that's a question you get asked all the time is if you do steroids. And I can say that Ted does not. I've spent enough time with him.
She hasn't found any of my needles.
No, haven't found anything.
No, but I'm also going to be more open about the fact that I'm open to doing it in my later years. Like when my test stops being produced.
Yeah.
And I hit 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, I'll probably take some.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of similar to like hormone replacement therapy for women, even though I know it's very controversial for women. But I can see, like, as you know, when women go through menopause and estrogen dips, and then they do things to kind of help support that. So I can see the justification for that for sure.
And there's like there's healthier doses than what a lot of bodybuilders take. They take like massive dosages, but there's a lot of people who take like a therapeutic dose of testosterone.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just gives them a little boost in their later years. So
yeah,
if I ever did do that, it'd probably be that.
Yeah.
And by then too, that's 20 years in the future. They'll probably have such better technology then for like tracking the health side effects of that sort of stuff anyway.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah.
I'm confident that I will still be healthy even if I do supplement therapeutically in my later years.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now there's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. And so now you don't. So yeah, I was like, I'll point that out. I've made you plenty of smoothies with all fruit after workouts.
Yeah, another way to tell if someone's on steroids though, or if they start taking them, is if they get significantly stronger right away across all their lifts. Really fast. And because I track every single workout, I can like post my workout diary online.
Smart.
You can see how painfully slowly I progressed.
Yeah.
Painfully slow.
It's truly natural.
There's never been 1 month or year where all of a sudden like boom, stronger.
Yeah.
It's just so slow. But there was one thing that one supplement I took that made a big difference, and one thing I did in training that made a big difference. And I think everyone should know about these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of them is taking creatine. That made a big difference.
Okay.
That added, I don't know how much weight exactly, but I'd say between 3 to 5 pounds.
Okay.
And I take 10 grams of that per day.
Okay.
So creatine, huge difference. And then another big difference that I made was rather than training every day or 5 days a week, I trimmed it back to just 3 days a week or every other day.
Okay.
So work out one day, rest. Work out the next day, rest. Work out the next day, rest. So every other day, complete rest day.
Yeah.
And then when I do go in for that workout, I'm only in there for like 30 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, you do have very quick workouts.
I'll do one, maximum 2 sets per exercise.
Yeah.
So I'll do the bench press, I'll do 1 set, I'm done bench press. I'll go do shoulder press, I'm done shoulder press, 1 set. I'll go do bicep curls, 1 set, I'm done.
Yeah.
That has made the biggest change to my results that I've been getting. So I used to be plateaued for all these different lifts. Once I worked out less and only did 1 set per exercise, I started getting stronger. It seems so counterintuitive,
But it makes sense. I mean, you're working more efficiently.
and you're training for that 1 set. Whereas if you do multiple sets, your body then remembers, hey, we got 3 sets. So you're training for endurance.
Yeah.
By doing 3, 4, 5 sets, you're training for endurance.
That's true.
Whereas if you tell your body, hey, 1 set max, and you come back a few days later, your body's like, hey, we're only doing that 1 set max, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 1 set max, bam, and you're like super strong in that 1 set. Yeah, you do become weaker in endurance, but I'm not optimizing for that.
Right. Yeah, it depends what your goals are, for sure. I know, I feel like with pull-ups sometimes, my first set or second set is usually my good set. I don't know, depends on the day. But then it's like I know that I'm going to do 1 or 2 more sets after that. So it's like I could maybe do another 1 or 2, but then I'm like, no, I'm going to save myself for the next set. So
yeah, so yeah, you're not even giving your all on those sets because you know subconsciously or even consciously you got more to go.
yeah.
So that makes a difference.
So that's a very smart way to train. And it's efficient. I think so many people feel like if they want to get into working out, they have to dedicate all this time to it. And you really don't have to. Not that I work out as short as that, but like I used to work out for 2 hours at the gym. I would do a 45-minute spin class before that and then another 45-minute spin class in the evening. Wow. So that's like 3.5 hours of working out, like 5 days a week I did that. And it was just an insane amount of time. I wasn't even getting the results I wanted. And now I work out for an hour, maybe an hour 15 on like a longer day. But
yeah, if you're training for Ironman or something,
then yeah.
Sounds good. But today's a perfect example. My friends went to the smoothie shop, ordered like 4 smoothies, took a while for it to be made. I didn't want to wait with them while the smoothies were being made.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym right next door, got my workout in. By the time I was finished my workout, I came back, they're still waiting for the smoothies.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like I got an entire workout in the time it took people to just stand in line and wait.
There you go.
So it's like, yeah, my workout was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
That's perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I go max effort on the lifts I do. I only do maybe
Smart.
4 or 5 lifts. I take a rest between them, and I'm done.
Yeah. And then you give your body ample time to recover.
Yep. And it's better on my tendons and ligaments and joints because I'm not putting them through hundreds of repetitions.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Way less wear and tear.
Yeah. Amazing. So that's one of your big keys then is the time you work out, and then the other one you said is creatine.
Yeah. I take another supplement too, which makes a difference. And that's Tongkat Ali.
Oh yes, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Tongkat Ali and ashwagandha.
Okay, yeah. Ashwagandha.
So like my triple stack is like Tongkat Ali, ashwagandha, and creatine.
Awesome. And I recently, I visited you in January, and you were telling me that creatine's also good for the brain. So then after that was the first time I heard that. And I started reading about it, and now that's all I see everywhere is all this research about how creatine is so great for your brain. So then I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'll start taking it.
You seem smarter now, too.
I know, right? I do feel like on days that I don't sleep as well, that I feel like more mentally alert.
Mm-hmm.
And I have read that some of the studies they've done show that people who take creatine, if they're tired, their brain function is actually just as good. And I'm like, I can attest to that because I've had some like not so great nights of sleep over the last 6 months or so. So
how many grams do you take?
I kind of eyeball it. So like a full scoop I think is 5 grams.
Yeah.
And so I do like maybe half of that, maybe a little bit more than half.
Oh, just 2 heaping.
2 heaping, okay. So, and I don't do that every day, but.
Oh, you do it daily.
All right.
Needs to be daily.
Yeah. Probably. I guess I was easing into it.
Yeah, if you're easing into it, sure. Now that you've eased into it.
But yeah, when I saw you in May, I was easing into it at that time. So I guess for a few months later, I can.
Heaping scoop. Minimum just a full scoop.
Yeah.
But I usually do a heaping scoop. Sometimes 2 full scoops.
Okay. So yeah, I can't say that I noticed a difference in my strength from it. Maybe if I do more, I will.
But you're not tracking.
But I'm not tracking.
You're not tracking.
So maybe.
And there's noticing and feeling, and then there's actually like doing the numbers. When I started doing the numbers, I got pissed off actually. I wasn't excited. I was pissed because I hadn't been doing it earlier.
Oh,
so
okay.
This whole time I could have been benching an extra 20 pounds. This whole time I could have been doing more pull-ups. Like, I was pissed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yay, I'm stronger. I was like, this whole time. But I only knew that because I tracked.
Because you tracked, yeah. I probably will feel the same because I've been wanting to hit that 10 pull-up PR forever.
Yeah, but also it sounds like your dosing is maybe a little low and inconsistent. So if you keep your dosage always 5 grams, which is a full scoop, and you do it every day, which is hard to miss a day. You do smoothies every day, right?
Yeah. So there's no excuse.
Add to a smoothie.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do take like an amino acid supplement also, but I've taken the same amino acid supplement since I was 20. So that's been 11 years I've taken. So, like, part of me was like, oh, maybe my, like, gains are only from that supplement. But I'm like, no, because I can look at my strength and my physique from the last 11 years and see, like, how it's gone up and down and where it's plateaued. And so I'm like, my diet has made all the difference. Like, I probably could stop taking that supplement, really.
Try it I'm a big fan of experimenting. So try cutting it out for a couple months, see what happens.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to try it.
I tried cutting out creatine and I know what happens.
Yeah.
I got weaker and I lost weight.
Yeah.
Because creatine holds water inside the muscle.
Yeah.
It's not like salt where it's like, around your skin.
Yeah.
It goes into the muscle, so your muscles are bigger.
Yeah.
Which makes them stronger.
Yeah.
And because you weigh more, you can push more mass.
Yeah.
Is the brain a muscle?
No, it's an organ.
It's an organ.
Not a muscle.
There's so much I know about biology. One time someone asked me a question, I was on a Q&A call on someone else's podcast, and they asked some question about, I don't know, like hemoglobin or something. And I was like, I don't even know what hemoglobin is. And they're like, I can't take any of this guy's advice. He doesn't even know what hemoglobin is.
Yeah.
But they asked about some organ as well. They asked about like the kidney or the liver, and I'm like, I don't even know what that organ is. What does it do?
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy's so untrustworthy. I never promised to be a biology expert.
Oh.
All I know is how to run pretty fast, lift some weights, and eat fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't know everything about everything because then you don't really know anything about anything. Like, you need...
Too widespread.
Yeah, and there's so much to know about the body. I mean, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So there's...
But it obviously interests you enough to learn.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in the kidney or liver.
Yeah, and that's fine, but you can still be an advocate for nutrition, not knowing those
I'm interested
things.
in apples, though. Like, tell me about the enzymatic properties of apples.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, what happens when you eat jackfruit. Like, that's cool to me. I like how durian is an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
It's high in sulfur. Like, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
But, knowing about the body is less interesting to me for some reason.
Yeah, except when it comes to the muscle system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and how to get stronger.
Yeah.
And how to lean out, how to gain weight, whatever. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But organs, no.
Yeah. And again, that's okay. But that doesn't, that certainly doesn't mean that you don't have good advice. That's such a funny thing. I mean, I see why someone would say that, but it's still so funny to me.
But it's like, look at the results. Does she have the results that I'm looking for?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to look like this person? Do you want to, is their energy, is their vibration something that you want to embody as well? Mm-hmm. Do what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I first became a certified personal trainer and a certified nutritionist, I was so scared of being asked questions I didn't have answers to.
Yeah.
Such a big fear of mine. Like, I want to be a coach, I want to be a trainer, but what if they ask me something and I don't know the answer? I'm so scared. And now my answer is, I don't know. Let's ask Google. Let's ask Taylor. She would know.
Yeah.
So I either know someone who does know or I know a way to find out.
Yeah. And then once you find out, you don't forget.
Yeah.
But I went through that when I started working with clients too. Clients would ask me things and I would feel like I was put on the spot, like, I don't know. And I hated to say that I didn't know. And then eventually I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna research more into that.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. I'll look more into it and we can talk about it in your next
That's
session.
something I've never been asked before. I've never even thought of that before.
Yeah.
Let me look into that for you.
Yeah. And these are questions that most of the time we've probably never thought of asking because you have another person with a different mind and they're gonna ask something in a way that we didn't fathom.
That's right.
And then it makes us smarter in the end. So yeah. So I have a question that's kind of about, like, not about fitness, but it's still about, like, fruit eating. So, like, how is dating for you, eating the way you eat? Because, like, I've recently stepped back into the dating realm. And so I'm like, it's interesting, like, because everyone thinks that, I mean, you might eat or date people who eat like you.
It's so different, men and women. So, like, women I find are much more accommodating. Women I find, like, if there's a vegan woman or a fruitarian woman like yourself, from my perspective, from my experience, from me talking to a bunch of women out there, they're much more accommodating and much more willing to date a non-vegan or a non-fruitarian. They're just you're just more loving. You're just more less shallow, I guess. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I love him anyway, or but he brings these other things to the table. Or, yeah, he's such a good guy, and like you're more like thoughtful in that sense. I think you have to be as a woman if you want to be like a good mom.
Yeah.
Like if your kid's kind of not the best kid, you still love your kid.
Right.
Very loving mother. But a lot of the guys I noticed, myself included, were like, if she's not vegan, there's no way.
Yeah.
If she's not fruitarian, like, she better start eating more fruit.
Yeah.
Like, we're just much more stern and strict with our standards.
Yeah.
And maybe that comes across as more shallow, but it's like, this is the way. If you're not getting on the path, get up.
Yeah.
And like that's why there's like a lot of like really like strict dads out there, and like they want their kid to do this, and it's like they want the kids cry, whatever. And the mom's like, oh, don't be so hard on the kid, but it's like, no, this is the way.
Yeah.
Tie your shoes before you go outside. Like,
yeah.
Eat your apple. So I'm in that camp, and I'm like, if she's not vegan, it's not gonna last long.
Yeah.
I'll give her a chance to become vegan very quickly. I'll show her the same videos I've watched.
Yeah.
I'll ask her the same thought-provoking questions I ask myself to become vegan.
Yeah.
But then vegan is just one level. Like if a girl's vegan and she's not gonna be fruit-based, that's also a big turnoff.
Yeah.
Like if you're not fruit-based, like what? That's kind of, it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you eating for breakfast? Potatoes for breakfast?
Yeah.
How are you gonna eat watermelon for lunch with me now?
Yeah.
But you can't. You say like it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Like food combining. Hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I meet a non-fruitarian or non-vegan, then I have to educate them as quickly as possible and let them know as soon as possible that this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
In if you want to be with me.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't have to be with me. I'm
Right.
not forcing you.
Right.
If you don't want to be fruitarian, you don't want to be vegan, there's plenty of other guys out there who'd be happy to be with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I rarely meet a woman who's that strict as well. So
yeah,
most women are like, oh, it'd be nice if he was vegan. It'd be nice if he was fruitarian, but he's got these other great traits, and I love him anyway, and he's accepting of me, so
yeah.
Boom. Of course he's accepting of you. You have the perfect diet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's funny. I would say I fall into that camp that I'm a little bit more open as far as like I'm like I just accept how I eat. But you do bring up something that as I'm kind of figuring all this out for myself because I have not been in this place in quite some time. That the fruit thing is kind of big though, because I'm like, well, I don't care if you eat meat, but like, I think I do want you to eat a lot of fruit because like fruit is it is truly so amazing. And it's one of those things that you can't really explain it to someone unless they start to really eat more fruit and start to experience like all the magical different flavors of the different fruits in the seasons. And it's like, you kind of need to understand that like, oh, this mango was like the best mango I've had all year, and like I am stoked about it, because if you don't eat a lot of fruit you don't quite get what a big deal that is.
Yep, totally. Yeah, there's something very magical about fruit itself, and then there's something magical about you having a great experience with fruit.
Yeah.
But then when you share that experience with somebody else who you love, it's just like bliss.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're eating like the world's best mango and they're having a fucking pizza, and they're like, what's all the hype about? Like, oh, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
You're missing out on a foundational piece.
Yeah.
Of a relationship, which is sharing delicious foods together. So yeah, I've had fruitarian girlfriends. I've had non-fruitarian girlfriends, and the fruitarian ones are, they have an advantage, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because it's like they can go pick the best fruit for me. Bring it back, prepare it beautifully. They know when it's ripe.
Yeah.
We share it together. We're both moaning as we eat it.
Yeah.
I'm not the weird one.
Yeah, right.
They're willing to go travel like to these countries to go get good durian.
Yeah.
They're willing to, go explore just to find good fruit. Yeah. I had this one girlfriend, and like the only thing we argued about the entire relationship, we never argued at all the entire relationship except once. And it was an argument over. She was getting mad at me for not using the cutting board at a hotel room. She's like, use the cutting board. It was like the only argument we ever had the whole relationship, because we're both like just high on fruit.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's also, I find girls who eat fruit, their moods are much better. Much better moods. Much better smells, much better tastes.
Yeah.
Just better vibe.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, again, can't experience it. I'm biased because, but I could say mood wise, I have never been more stable mood wise since eating.
Me too. My moods used to
mostly fruit. Yeah.
I used to be like a lot of guys with anger issues. I would break stuff and snap stuff and want to punch walls and kill people and kill myself. Like I'd go into rage modes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just part of who I was. And then I stopped eating garbage and just ate fruit. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have a different personality.
What a concept.
My whole personality changed. Yeah. And women are like the same thing. When women start eating fruit, they become way less moody.
Yeah.
Still more moodier than guys. But
of course.
But
yes.
less moody.
Yeah.
And just more defaulted to happiness as opposed to defaulted to like negativity and depression and sadness.
Yeah. Oh,
which a lot of the population is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I also think fruit, and I talked a little bit about this on my last podcast with my last guest, but fruit is, the female reproductive organ of the tree, and fruit is amazing for women's reproductive health, and it helps balance our hormones. So I'm not surprised that when women eat more fruit, that their hormones are more balanced, therefore their mood is more stable. And then when they are going through their cycle, it's not so much of this drastic up and down. Like, yes, you are going to go from your follicular phase to your luteal phase, and there's going to be a shift there, but it's not so drastic to where it's like, oh man, this is so frustrating. Like,
one of the biggest perks I hear most women report when they start eating a fruit diet is their period duration of them bleeding shrinks.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of blood that comes out of them shrinks. And the amount of pain that they're in shrinks. Some even go so far as to like just have no blood at all.
Yeah.
They still feel all symptoms, but there's like maybe a drop or something, but that's it. Absolute minimal blood loss.
I have heard that, yeah. Can't say that I'm in that place, but like it's still so much better. So yeah. So it's so interesting that you would notice that because it makes logical sense, but to hear it then from a male perspective, I think it's very cool. Yeah. And just to even see how it's stabilized then your mood too, even though like you said, men are less moody than women, but again.
But men have anger issues.
Yeah.
A lot of men.
Yeah.
And I was in that camp. People in my family are in that camp. So I thought it was just like a genetic, natural thing.
Yeah.
For me to be pissed off, very easily triggered. Now I'm like, the last time I got triggered, it was so long ago, but it was when I left my really good pillow, which you can't buy anywhere. You can't buy it on Amazon, you can't buy it at the mall, you can't buy it anywhere. It's like the best pillow ever.
So important.
And it fit my neck and shoulder perfectly.
Yeah.
And I actually left it in Airbnb, and the Airbnb host threw it away in the garbage.
No.
Like I've left stuff at Airbnbs before, and there's like, oh, you left this thing, we'll leave it on the counter for you. Or we'll leave it on the front porch or something.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, we threw it out. That was like the only time in recent history I got pissed off.
Yeah.
It's my fucking pillow.
Yes.
I don't blame you. I was like, why? Like why? Like, what the fuck? Give me a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just threw it out. But yeah, I don't get pissed off anymore. I used to get pissed off often. And I 100% believe it's because of fruit.
Yeah, well, I think
100%.
Fruit, plants in general, but fruit specifically, it's very grounding as well. Like, I mean...
It requires roots to grow.
Yeah. And it's so hard. Like, I feel so silly sometimes because sometimes the only word I can truly think of is to say this fruit is magical, but it kind of is. Like, because it's hard to put it into words. Like, unless you just eat it and feel it, you're...
One thing I do often now too is I'll like bite into a fruit. I'll look at it in half, like bite a grape in half, or bite a dragon fruit in half, or bite a apple in half, or an orange in half, and look at it and be like, that is keeping this alive.
Yeah.
Like, just bite into a grape. Like, how the frick is that stuff in a grape keeping me alive? Like, I could live on that, just purely what's in a grape for months and keep me alive. Cut a watermelon in half and be like, that's keeping me alive. It's incredible. It's glowing. And it's making you salivate thinking about it.
Yeah. And like you said, you moan when you have a really good one. Mm-hmm. That is the best. Like the best feeling. Did you see there was an article that came out the day before yesterday? It was a Time article. And it was basically saying how maybe ultra-processed foods aren't as unhealthy as we think that they are. And of course it was circulating. Everyone's like up in arms, like, are you serious? Then they changed the name of the article the following day saying like, why one dietitian is speaking up for ultra-processed foods. And basically she's advocating why you shouldn't be afraid of ultra-processed foods and you should like In fact, incorporate them into your diet. And I'm just thinking, like, how far removed are we from what is real food? And this is why people have anger issues, and this is why women are extra moody and why their periods are painful. It's like just insane.
I didn't see that article, but there's something to the placebo effect as well, where if she truly believes, genuinely deep down believes that there's nothing wrong with processed foods, she's better off having that belief than thinking it's poisonous as she's eating it.
That is true.
You know, like you and I think it's poisonous, so we don't eat it.
Yeah.
But if we were to eat it, we ought to embrace her philosophy towards it, to at least protect ourselves.
That's
this
true.
Is good stuff.
Yeah.
But because we don't believe it, we're never going to. We just don't eat it.
Yeah. Was it you that was telling me once that there was someone who like only ate like mac and cheese?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
There's this lady. She just ate potatoes, nothing but potatoes for her whole life.
Yeah.
And she had a kid. The kid came out perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And the kid only ate potatoes and deep fried potatoes.
Oh my gosh.
McCain's or something. And then there's this other boy, who just ate mac and cheese for years, like decades. Just mac and cheese Kraft. Specifically Kraft. There's one flavor.
And that is filled with chemicals.
And again, he was like seemingly perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But he just loved it. Like he's like had like this emotion of love towards it. Like I love my Katie, and it's the overwhelming amount of love he had towards it.
Yeah.
Allowed his body to be healthy enough to live and grow and reproduce. So there's definitely something to be said for your belief around the food.
The mind is powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like my argument when I was thinking about the article, and she was saying how it helped, like eating ultra processed foods, she noticed relieved a lot of stress for her and relieved a lot of anxiety. But I'm like, okay, but so does alcohol, so does smoking cigarettes.
Sure.
Yes. And just because they do that, that doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. And you know, there are much healthier, constructive ways to relieve stress and reduce anxiety, even like not even food related.
Totally.
So I was just thought that was like interesting that was her argument. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, for everything we believe, there's going to be a group of people, large or small, who genuinely believe in the opposite.
Yeah, and large, because in a sense, like what we do is we're very much a minority group.
People think what we're doing is effed.
Yeah, no, that's so radical.
Like people think what we're doing is completely unhealthy.
Yeah.
And yet you and I are like built our entire career and brands around how perfect this is. And we genuinely believe what we're doing is perfect.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to show everyone how obvious it is how perfect this is. And yet there are other people out there saying like what we're doing is just like garbage and so unhealthy and not sustainable, and you cannot build muscle on it.
Yeah.
Fact, you cannot build muscle. I know you're doing it, but fact, you cannot do it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They genuinely believe it. Like they'll look at us and they'll see us get stronger and be like, yeah, but you can't.
Yeah. Like, I see the muscle on your arm. But
yeah,
no.
yeah. People are like, yeah, where do you get your protein?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't. And they're like, yeah, but you need it.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't.
Yeah.
But you do. And they look at their arm, it's like half the size.
Yeah, exactly. People always comment like, oh my gosh, your arms, like when I post videos and stuff, like, your arms are so toned. And then they like start to follow me and then they realize like, what? Then it's like all of a sudden they hate me. But I'm like, but initially you saw me and you were like, oh, okay, I want to look like that. So like,
then all of a sudden it can't be done.
Yeah, it can't be done.
A funny one too, this happens a lot, is people will find out that I just eat fruit, and then I tell them what I eat in a day, and then they're like, first they're really interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but I could never do that.
Yeah, that's
like, well, I never suggested you do.
Yeah.
But then if they ever do decide, okay, maybe I should do it, they're usually like, maybe I'll try it for 30 days. You don't need to go 30 days. Try it for a day.
Yeah.
Try it for a day and don't make these 3 mistakes.
Yeah.
Which is not stocking up enough.
Yeah.
And then not eating unripe fruit. And then not doing improper food combining.
Yeah.
So in other words, stock up majorly so you have enough food. Make sure it's all perfectly ripe.
Yeah.
And make sure you're doing proper food combining. But even though I tell them to do those 3 things, I guarantee you they'll screw up on those 3 things.
Yeah.
Because they have no practice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those 3 things require practice. You have to practice stocking up. You have to practice eating when it's ripe.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to practice proper food combining.
Yeah.
It's a skill in the same way a video game is a skill. And even though I tell you those 3 things, you're still going to mess them up.
Yeah.
So even doing it for a day is incredibly hard.
Yes.
There's no way I expect someone to succeed for 30 days.
Yeah.
There's YouTube videos of people saying, I tried preparing diet for 7 days. The first meal is like an unripe, crunchy plum. It's like,
Oh.
and they're like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this diet. Me neither, bro.
Yeah.
It's a plum, and the other thing on your plate is a green banana.
Yeah.
And that's breakfast. Not enough. And unripe.
Yeah.
And then after that, you said you're going to have an avocado and watermelon?
Oh,
No food.
stomach ache.
So people guaranteed to mess it up unless they get coaching or unless
Yeah.
they study this, they read books about it, they watch videos like this.
Or they have someone ask questions that
and
they know.
Practice. You have to practice.
Yeah. Which I feel like if someone decided to do it for 30 days, they might succeed because as those 30 days go on, you might get better at picking riper fruit and figuring it out. Like, okay, I got it now. But like, if you're like, I'm going to do it for one day.
Guaranteed mess up.
Yeah. You would have to have prepared for that one day, like a week or 5 days prior to that. Mm-hmm. Which is the same when people are like, oh, I'm going to do a juice cleanse today. And they just wake up one day and they do that. And I'm like, your poor liver is going to hate you. Like, yeah, sure, you're not going to eat anything solid, but like your body is not prepped and primed to detox at all. So it's funny. I mean, good intention. Like, I want to be fruitarian for a day, but like, you're probably going to
headaches.
fail. Yeah.
Headaches, everything. Gut aches, diarrhea, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So last question. What is your go-to fruit meal for like before a workout or after workout? I think you do your workouts fasted, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, what's your kind of go-to fruit-wise?
When I'm cutting and I'm dropping weight, so I'm in a calorie deficit, I like to do my workouts in the evening.
Okay.
That way I'm the most fed.
Makes sense.
When I'm bulking or I'm maintaining, I can do my workouts any time of day, ideally in the morning. So I will do those fasted. Go-to is, there's nothing, not dogmatic about it.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be high carb and ripe.
Yeah.
And not too much so that I'm not sitting there feeling it. Go-to is just a banana.
Yeah.
If I can have a banana, a spotted like a cheetah banana, I can go run a half marathon.
Yeah.
Just give me one banana. Give me 100 good calories, and I'm good. That was my go-to for my triathlons as well.
Okay.
I had one banana.
Amazing.
I experimented with like, I'll do a banana and a date, coconut water, just a date. I always felt my best on just a banana.
Yeah.
One banana. Not a banana and a half.
Yeah.
Not half a banana.
The whole thing.
One banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's it.
And I'm sure the seasons vary. Like it changes.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's the safest.
But yeah,
the safest thing is a banana.
But that's why I understand why that question is kind of hard. So, but banana is
and it's also available everywhere in the world.
That is true.
Every country's got a freaking banana.
Yeah.
But I'll happily have a watermelon, a mango, peach, plum, nectarine, whatever.
Yeah.
Before the workout, just some sugar.
Yeah.
I've tried no sugar. I've tried like just fat. Sucks.
Yeah. See, I mean, I tried keto years ago, and
sucks.
I mean, I hated it. I know men can fare a little better, but
anyone who's doing keto, anyone who's doing high fat, low carb, I haven't found one exception. They're also doing caffeine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've also, I know of no exceptions. People who do pure fruit, pure high carb, none of them are doing caffeine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I heavily relied on caffeine when I was keto.
Yep.
I mean, I was already addicted and all of that anyway, but.
But find a keto person who doesn't do caffeine and find a fruitarian who does caffeine. You won't be able to.
Yeah. And if you can't function without caffeine, you're not really functioning.
Drugs or medication.
Yeah. You're using a stimulant to function. Yeah. Wow, that's such a good point. And then one other question that made me think of it as I talked to you, like what your go-to is. So you were doing celery juice for a little while with your workouts. What did you think?
I love celery juice. It's so good. It's the only vegetable I enjoy.
It's technically an herb.
Oh. Well, for the sake of the veggie crew, it's the only vegetable I enjoy eating raw.
Okay.
And it's by far my favorite veggie juice.
Yeah.
It's so good. I could easily have it every day. But if I have it in the morning, like I normally wake up in the morning, I'll go number 2 within half an hour waking up. But if I have celery juice in the morning,
Oh yeah.
I'll go to number 2 like an additional 3 times in the morning.
Yeah.
I just keep going. It's
It flushes
crazy.
you. Yeah. Did you notice any changes in your workout? Because my favorite reason to drink celery juice is the electrolyte content and the natural sodium content, because I feel that my muscles just love it for working out, and so I usually
I haven't paid attention to that.
Okay.
But in my triathlon career, I would always do coconut water throughout the entire race.
Makes sense.
And I would freeze celery juice at the bottom of the water bottle, add coconut water on top. That way, by the time I got to the bike on the race, the celery juice had melted, it was cold, mixed with the coconut water. So I was loving that super salty coconut water.
Amazing. I'll have to try that.
That was my fuel for the race.
Awesome. But yeah, I guess if you're not doing, like, not that I do a ton of cardio, but I think I do more cardio than you. So that could be why I'm a little bit more addicted to the celery juice.
Oh yeah, and you're in a hot, sunny climate, you're sweating all the time.
Yeah.
And you tan.
Yeah, definitely.
Laying out there just baking.
Well, thank you for being my very first in-person guest on my podcast.
Honored.
I'm super appreciative that you were able to do it, and that we finally got to just talk fitness and protein and fruit, because that's kind of both of our fortes. Yeah. So
sweet. It was fun.
Awesome.
Do more.
I will. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.